Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to today's SIG scheduling weekly meeting. And this meeting is recorded, so be aware of what you're saying and be respectful to each other. So today this week there's not too much items in the agenda, so I will just go through the first one first. The first one is the feature we're going to graduate to beta in 1.20 release. So basically, we have the similar feature in the before, which we call the selector spread. So that it's an implicit scheduling policy, which we try to look at the path, whether the path belongs to a service or belongs to a replica set, etc. So that we try to favor, when scheduling this kind of paths, we try to spread the paths evenly across the cluster. So it's a scoring plugin, it's not a filtering plugin. But in the last release, we think that it's maybe not a good idea to put it as a standalone plugin because most of the logic has been duplicated with the path topology spread plugin. So in last release, we make a transition to sort of put the logic into path topology spread and give user option to describe this kind of option using the arguments of the path topology spread plugins. And in this release, we're going to make it beta, so that when you configure the path topology spread plugin, there is an optional arguments so that you can define either you can specify what's the type is. If you don't specify and the feature is beta, so that it defaults to system. System means we will apply a system level spread constraint to that. It's a soft constraint, not hard constraint. And instead, you can specify that, okay, I don't want the system level one. I know my cluster, I know the workloads. So I want to define the constraints myself so that the cluster admin can define this in this field. So that is basically the idea of default path topology spread. We want to merge the similar things into one single plugin as much as possible. So this is the background. And it's tracked in the 1.20 release. I think that's the only feature we promised to deliver in this release. And another one is the pod metrics one that is raised by Clayton, and I think that cap got merged this week. Not 100% sure that Clayton will make it implemented as an offer in 1.20 release. So we maybe touch base with Clayton later.
Quick question, could you share a link to this Google Doc, please?
Okay. This spreadsheet?
Yeah, the spreadsheet with the 120. I don't know how to get to that. Thanks.
Which row do you mean? Yeah, I have searched this spreadsheet. I think we only put the
No. I just want to link to the doc itself.
I want the link. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I would suggest you to go to this link. And
okay,
this is a new one. Where's chat? Hold on. I think this is a new one that the release team bring up lately. I don't see it before, and you can see the enhancement. Yeah, there's a lot of handful document here. So enhancement tracking sheet here, and also some milestone date. Like the recent date is November 12, and we will do code freeze because this release is a short release due to the holidays. And yeah, that's basically the milestone we should care about.
Thanks.
Yeah, so other than the features we promised to the release team, some other things like I did here is doing the refactoring on the scheduling performance framework, right? So that is not a external exposable feature. So we have the time, we have the buffer. If we, for example, we finish 50%, we can just go with 50% easily. That's no problem because it's not an external feature. So take your time because it's a hard time. It's a holiday season, so yeah. Don't be too long.
So just to give you a bit of context, I'll be working on priority and fairness. That'll be most of where I'll be spending my time this quarter. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be working on the scheduler framework as well in parallel.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. And I don't see much participant join today. So if you have any topic, just bring that. We have 20 minutes to have a free talk if you want. And if you don't, I'm not sure if you mind I spend 5 minutes to give you a latest update on the scheduler plugin subrepo. So basically, this repo is a place to incubate out-of-tree scheduler plugins, so that maybe in the first time it's hard to decide whether to accept a plugin in the upstream, right? So this is a good place for them to incubate and exercise to involve the API, etc. So recently, some update is that we accepted CAP to involve the gun scheduling, also known as code scheduling implementation. So in the before we accepted implementation just based on the pod labels. So you define the code scheduling attributes in the pods label, but lately we accept the CAP, which raised the standardized the pod group concept, so that we have a more formalized way to associate the pod group API object to the implementation. So that is one. And also there's a CAP about capacity scheduling. And I think I mentioned this in one of our meeting before. So it's tried to do a sort of, it want to delay the check on quarter to scheduling time instead of the admission time, because you may want to make the most of the quarter, right? You can have for example, one team maybe used most of them, and the other team gets to it. Once it's not meet the guaranteed, so the two teams can share the quota. But in terms of the traditional quota that in Kubernetes, once the pod is created, the pod will occupy that kind of quota because it's decided at the creation time, no matter the pod can be scheduled or not be scheduled. So this is the basic idea. And another CAP is on real load aware scheduling CAP. So this is a long discussed topic. So whether we look into the pod request or we look into other metrics like real-time cluster utilization metrics. So this CAP made a trade-off. So it still honored the KSM, Kubernetes Resource Model. That means it doesn't touch the hard requirements. It doesn't touch the filtering plugin like to honor a part which requires 1 GB memory to CPU, etc. So that part is still honored. Instead, what it tried to enhance, the score plugin. It looks into some real-time metrics provided by some external provider like metric provider Prometheus or some other things, so that it also brings up some statistics algorithms to try to, for example, look at the last 5 minutes usage, 15 minutes usage. So it try to favor the node, maybe which has lower usage, and maybe just make the usage more balanced across the cluster. So if you're interested, you can take a look. I think that is pretty much the latest status for schedule plugin. Yeah, 5 minutes. Any question, any other topics, feel free to bring up. Okay, if no, I think we can end today's meeting earlier so that I give you 15 minutes back.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone.
Okay,
Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you for joining. Bye.